Okay, so welcome back to my channel. I am Jason, and this is from Sin's Perspective Reviews. So, if the photo behind me looks familiar, then you may be a Gen Xer. I do remember, have fond memories of my mom taking us to Blockbuster and renting movies. You know, there was a whole experience during that time. And I know my sister and I rented Dark Crystal and Labyrinth quite a few times. And Labyrinth, I don't mean Pan's Labyrinth. I mean David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly's Labyrinth. uh, quite a few times. And so, again, if you are a Gen Xer, then you probably remember this trailer from the 1980s, Dark Crystal.
In a place outside time lies a mystical realm of sound and vision. A wondrous civilization. Where good and evil struggle to possess the Dark Crystal.
Okay, so, like I said, it's a lot. It's very so much nostalgia, just the movie and just the trips to Blockbuster and that whole experience, and getting excited when you look up at the board and it's the new release board, and when the movie you're waiting for is going to be in stock, and of course you're trying to be the first one to get it, but chances are you were not, so you had to wait for returns, and it was a whole process. But at the time, it was like, oh man, the movie is not available. Now, as an adult looking back on that, it was a whole experience. Blockbuster was just a whole experience. And it's unfortunate that children, I guess, I don't know, the millennials and zennials, I don't even know what they're calling themselves now. They missed out on that experience. And so, if you this photo here, so you have Jen. Oh, wait a minute, Jen, who's the Gelfling, who's like the human, I guess humanoid, I guess, and then you have the mystic, the older, wiser mystic, and he is the person that raised Jen. Now, if you remember the plot of the actual movie in the 80s, the Mystics and the Skeksis. So the Skeksis and the Mystics, they were actually initially one entity. So there's about 13, 14 of them, and they were initially one entity, but because of infighting and just a lot of turmoil and chaos, the crystal was fractured. And so as a result, the beings split, and so then you had the Skeksis and you had the Mystics. So I guess people can go into the duality of behavior and how we all have a dark and a light and a good and an evil, or they can probably argue there's no such thing as good and evil. We're just balls of energy just moving through life. I don't know how they're going to, but they can make that argument. But the Skeksis were the bad guys. The Mystics were the good guys. And so Jen, who is now of age, the older, wiser mystic is basically explaining to him what's going to be expected of him in the days to come. There's the oh my god, I forget what they call it. The oh my god, with the three sons. I can't remember the term, but that's upon them. And if they don't heal the crystal, then darkness is going to cover the land forever. And the mystic and the Skeksis are going to basically be Lord and rulers over everything. So Jen sets out, because at this point Jen he hasn't seen another Gelfling, another person who looks like him. So as far as he knew, he was the only person that existed. But of course, during his travels, he eventually runs into Jen. who is also a Gelfling, and you get her story. And basically, all of the Gelflings, most of them were actually killed by the Skeksis. So there's a whole issue of genocide. So war and genocide and the whole thing. And so Kira was actually raised by a group of people, which for whatever reason I can't think of their name. But they end up they end up meeting during the course of his travels, and she ends up helping him achieve his mission. So basically, in the end, the crystal was healed. The Skeksis and the Mystics became one again, one entity, and they, from what we gathered, learned from their mistakes. And so when I saw on Netflix, I saw the trailer about a month ago. I forget when they released it, but I saw it a while back. And I thought, okay, so Netflix is doing a Dark Crystal, but it's in the Age of Resistance. And I'm like, okay, so is this going to be the prequel? So if you're not familiar, here's the clip of the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance.
Thra. At its center, the crystal of truth, the source of all life. The Skeksis have corrupted it. And now our world is at risk from the darkening.
What is the darkening?
Behold.
I saw something. A vision.
You read too many stories.
No, this was real!
Everything the Skeksis ever told us was a lie. And now everyone and everything is at risk. Join me, so we may finally unite as one against our true foe, the Skeksis.
We are eternal!
Resistance is forming.
Are you sure about this?
But I have hope.
Behold the power of the darkening!
Hope is fragile. Precious. Hope catches the light. Splitting the darkness. Revealing your destiny.
I don't think anything will ever be like it was again.
No. It will be better.
Okay, so I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a prequel to the movie, the 80s version, that got them to that point where it was just Jen and Kira left. And so I'm very interested to see how the story is going to unfold. And so I'm posting this video because the series is actually supposed to air, or they're supposed to be released tomorrow. So the first season, so it's going to be interesting to see if this is going to be a completely separate story or how they're going to work this. So like I said, if it's going to be a prequel that led us up to the actual 1980s movie. So yeah, I just wanted to put this out here, especially for my Gen Xers who have fond memories of Blockbuster, and if you've seen this movie, the original, just wanted to give you a heads up, like, yes, Netflix is doing a Dark Crystal series. So let's all tune in and see what happens. And, I'll come back and do recaps and that whole thing. But yeah, I just was very excited when I first saw that. So I actually sent it to my sister. And she was like, wow, no, I haven't seen this. So like I said, we were huge fans as children of the movie. So I'm going to end this here, and I will talk to you guys later.